Okay, so I'm going to show you a quick and dirty on the radio setup. This is going to be the very basic level of setting up a radio. I'm going to mainly talk about the JR 2.4 gigahertz versions radios, which also are the DX, the DX7s, DX9s, the Spectrum radios. So first thing you want to do is when you want to log into the Mikrokopter tool, make sure that you're seeing the hexacopter or the microcopter. Make sure everything's working here. Again, for my testing purposes, this is not a normal error. You should not see missing BL control. This is because mine's not connected. So you want to go up under, first you want to start with settings. And you want to go under settings and go under channels. We're just looking here to make sure stuff is working. So if you're moving the controls on your radio, you want to see certain channels move. You want to see them go up and down, right and left. You want to throw some switches. This is a good way too to figure out what switches are controlling what channels. If you look right here, this is my 3-position auxiliary 2 switch, and it is controlling 2 different channels at the same time. It must be mixed on my radio. That's something you'll have to change within the radio if you want to use a separate channel for channel 9, but this is absolutely normal. Channel 6 and channel 9 are connected to my auxiliary 2 switch. If you look at the gear switch, I have that set to channel 5. And those are the 2 main switches I use for setting up height control and GPS. So you want to move the switches. I have another switch that I use channel 7 for a lot. This I use for my tilt motor on my camera mount. But basically we're looking to see that things are moving. We don't care too much about where they're moving or how they're moving, but just that they're moving. You want to make sure down here that you have the proper system selected. I'm using a Spectrum satellite. It's a high-res Spectrum satellite. I know it's high-res because I bound it with a high-res Spectrum or JR 9-channel receiver. If you bind it to a 6-channel receiver, it is low-res. 7-channel receiver, it's still low-res. 9-channel receiver, it's high-res. But in special cases, there are high-res 7-channel receivers out there. So just make sure you're using the high-res or low-res. If you have the wrong one selected, you'll see a lot of movement going on up here, and this stuff just will not seem to be working properly. I keep hearing that because I keep firing up the motors by accident, and there's no motors connected, so that's the error you get. So you should see this when you let go of the sticks and aren't touching anything. This should be absolutely still. If it's not still, you've got an issue. You need to troubleshoot it. Could be a bad solder joint on your satellite. It could be several different things causing it. But the main thing is that you have the wrong receiver selected down here. So once you verify that you've got a working system, that yes, it is working, you want to go ahead and write your changes. If you change your satellite receiver, you want to write your changes. Again, make sure this calms down, is not moving around, and then say OK. So then we go back in here, and what you want to do, you want to hit these side arrows and keep hitting them until you see these K numbers. These K numbers represent each channel on your system. There's 1 through 8, and if we keep going up, you'll start seeing some more listed here. But what we're mainly concerned with are these first 4 or 5. So if you look at your throttle, so I'm going to move my throttle down. I'm going to move it clear back up. What you want to see is this number to reach 125 plus or minus. I'm a little bit off here. So what you do to adjust that is you go into your radio, and on the JR radios I hit enter, and then I hit travel adjust, and then I'm going to move to throttle. And right now I'm set to the low level, so I'm going to hit that, and then I'm going to adjust it. So by turning up or down the throw on your radio, you can adjust these K numbers. Once you get it in place, you can move to the next one. So I'm going to hit the upper limit and make sure that's good, and we're good. And then we could check the rudder. And basically I just move stuff. I can't remember what channel's what, so I move something and look for it. And right there, the K4, that is my rudder or your rotation. And another thing I noticed is that when I let go of it, it's sitting a little bit on 4 or so. So you want to make sure that your trims are dead center 0 before you start. You also want to make sure you don't have any dual rates on that are affecting your calibrations. So if you don't know what dual rates are, put all your dual rate switches to 0, like you have an elevator dual rate, aileron dual rate, and a rudder dual rate. Make sure they're started off at 0. And calibrate these up and adjust your throws until you get 120 plus or minus on all of these, even your switches. So you can see this is my gear switch. It's 124 to 124, which is fine for the switch. It's plus or minus 1, I think. And if I look at my auxiliary 2 switch, which I use a lot, that's minus 127, centers minus 1, and 24 is my come home position actually. So anyway, so you want to just adjust those within the radio till you get those throws so they're where you want them and doing what you want them to do. The most important one are the 4 that are on your sticks. They do have to be very, very close to plus or minus 125, and otherwise you will have some strange problems going on. So just want to make sure those first 4 are working.